We are going to get into today's Lions news and rumors and a lot to cover for today's video. NFL executives rate Jared Goff as a third-tier quarterback. We're going to get into that one. We're going to get into the latest news in regards to any injuries or Lions and Miami Dolphins coming up on Saturday. Grant Stewart speaks about the Miami Dolphins. We're going to get into Dan Campbell talking about the quarterback position. But before we get into today's video, if you're a fan of the Detroit Lions, go ahead and subscribe to the channel because we're going to be live for that game on Saturday. We're going to be live at noon, so you don't want to miss out on that bad boy. Let's get started right now. We're just going to jump right into it. So, executives rated Jared Goff as a third-tier quarterback. Several NFL executives rated him as a third-tier quarterback. Let's get into the reasoning behind it. He's a 3 because he needs a run game, he needs a defense, and he needs all those things. Voter expressed. Continue on, Goff and Burrow are probably the 2 best anticipation throwers that I have seen lately. So you have to put him at a 1, at a head coach told The Atlantic. You might put him at a 2 from a pure quarterback standpoint. He struggles to extend plays, but the guy has played at a 1 level for 3 years. And they asked if it would continue. Another executive says, you'll see this year if it was the coordinator or the quarterback, but I think it has been more the quarterback than advertised, one executive says. Goff and Mayfield are legit guys who can get on a rhythm and dice you up. They're not as good as the top guys in Tier 1, but they deserve to be up there. This is interesting. Now, I want you guys to go ahead and rank Jared Goff before I get into this. Where do you have Jared Goff? 1, if you think he's the best. 32, if you think he's the worst starter quarterback in the NFL. So I'm curious to see what you guys have in this one. Now, it just depends how do you rank your tier ranking, or in this case here. If you're talking about Tier 1 and there's only a handful of quarterbacks in that bad boy, totally get it. If you're talking about the elite of the elite, right, you're talking about a Patrick Mahomes type of guy who's won multiple Super Bowls. Tier 2, if you want to put in the Lamar Jacksons or whatever. But I think Jared Goff is a top 10 quarterback. So it just depends on where you're wanting to, what tier it is. I have him as a top 10. Now, I do agree he needs a run game. So does every quarterback. I mean, some quarterbacks like a Josh Allen, they could do it with their legs, right? The Lamar Jackson do it with his legs. That's not Jared Goff. He does it with his brain, right? He does it with dissecting a defense. He needs to have an offensive line because he sits in the piece of pocket passer, right? He's going to do his progressions, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever he's got to do. That's the type of quarterback that he is. If you want to put him as a different type of tier because of that, I think Tier 3 is ridiculous. I would probably put him at a Tier 2 if I was to do my ranking. A Tier 1 is the elite of the elite, right? The guys that are always there, that's done it. Tier 2 is where I'd put Jared Goff. And I do count winning as a real thing. And winning a playoff game, yeah, we lost last year, but he has won for the Rams and the Lions in the playoffs. He's took 2 teams to an NFC championship and damn near took 2 teams to a Super Bowl. So I have him as a Tier 2 type of quarterback. Again, top 10, that's where I would have Jared Goff. What do you guys? I'm very curious to see what you have for Jared Goff. I think he's a really fine quarterback, and he's in the right system. I do agree with somebody saying, the anonymous second say he's got to have a run game and all that. Yeah, he does, and that's what makes him a good quarterback. This is part of his game. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. This is what it is. News that's going to affect the Detroit Lions week in 1. Green Bay Packers quarterback Jordan Love, who opens the season against the Lions, has thumb surgery. So he had a little surgery done to his thumb. They said that he should be good to go for week 1. Now he'll probably be go for week 1, but he's always injured. Jordan Love gets injured quite a bit, and their wide receivers are pretty banged up right now. It'll be interesting. Man, I think the Lions defense could feed if he's not 100%. Especially with our edges in our secondary. It just seems like the Packers are banged up right now. really banged up right now on offense. And it just goes to show Jordan Love there as well. He had some sort of operation done on his finger, even though it's not big. It's a finger. That's nothing. But I got asked by Matt Shepard. They said who's under a lot of pressure, what quarterback's under a lot of pressure in the NFC North. I actually went with Jordan Love, not for the reasons you would expect. Obviously, there's pressure for Jared Goff to win because of Ben Johnson, right? Caleb Williams got pressure with Ben Johnson. J.J. McCarthy's got pressure because the Vikings are a great team all around, right? And he's the unknown. I said Jordan Love because he's injured all the time. And they were calling for Malik Willis to be the starter last year during some of that. So, he's got to stay healthy at some point, right? Subscribe to the channel. We're going to be live for the Lions and Dolphins game on Saturday. We'll be live at noon. I'll be making the stream here in a couple days to get ready for it. So go ahead and do that. Grant Stewart ripping on the Miami Dolphins and their practice style. Now, before you say, Grant, shut up, this has actually been something that I've heard about last week from the Bears, how things went. But this is what Grant Stewart said about the Dolphins. Check out these comments from linebacker Grant Stewart about facing the Dolphins in joint practices, courtesy of the Detroit Lions on SI and my man Doc. He says, I don't know if they're ready. I'm going to keep it a stack. I have been at the other places and played against a team last year and joint practices against that team twice when it was Tampa. I don't know if they practice how we practice. I'm excited to see our guys for sure, and I'm excited to get out there and do something against somebody else who doesn't know every in and out of what we're doing. Now, you think that is just a rip on the Miami Dolphins. I don't believe that's the case because during practice versus the Chicago Bears and the preseason, it was well documented by many observers saying that the Miami Dolphins actually do not practice with physicality. And that goes to the stack of being a team that's a more physical and being a team that's not physical. And I'm very happy that Detroit Lions are a physical football team now. In years past, we were not physical. We were a finesse football team, and that is a hashtag facts. That's why I love this statement, is we used to be. We used to be that finesse Miami Dolphins team. We used to be the unphysical team. That's not the case anymore. We are the physical team. So, Grant Stewart, he's played against them, so he knows it. And you can see when the Miami Dolphins, when it gets cold out and stuff, and when it gets against savage teams that are physical, they get smashed. It just is what it is. Dan Campbell spoke to the media about Hendon Hooker, and this pretty much explains why a lot of people, including myself, has Kyle Allen winning the job, or at least Hendon Hooker not winning. He says, turning the ball over because, look, Hooker made some good throws before. He was doing some good things, but we've got to get work more taking care of the ball. If you decide you're a runner, you've got to tuck it away, man. Like any runner does. 2 hands of the ball in the pocket when you got to step up. It's all the fundamentals that we talk about. We need more to work on that, and then he'll get to play. That's brutal. He's not even talking about the quarterback position. If you're going to tuck it and run, if you're going to be a runner, look, Hendon Hooker has struggled this preseason. Struggled. And cool, he can run, but now he can't even tuck the ball in when he runs. I mean, everything is going wrong with this man's confidence right now. Last year, he wouldn't be just fumbling every time he decides to run. It's a weird thing that's going on, but Dan Campbell's right. If you're going to fumble the ball and turn the ball over, I don't care who it is. That's 2 games in a row. The same thing. It's not like it's a situation where it's once in a while, a fluke. Okay, he had a bad game out of a ton of games. It's been going on. It's consecutive, and it's a lack of confidence. I 1,000% believe that's what's going on with Hendon Hooker. It's in his head. He's got all the traits. It's in his head. And the Lions don't got time or patience to be dealing with in your head anymore. They just don't. Hey, if you do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, it does help out. It is great. I love it. We're going to be live for the game on Saturday, so make sure you subscribe. Former Lions released. Tim Boyle released by the Tennessee Titans. I just wanted to throw that in there. He's not coming to Detroit. No! All right, Aidan Hutchinson is wrecking practices. It's like Aaron Donald. JG spoke to 97, won the ticket. It's like Aaron Donald back in the day. Goff said it's the same way. He's a guy that can ruin a game. He certainly ruined practice for us a couple times offensively. And I'm so happy that he's not on our side. I don't have to play against him. It's true. Hutchinson is going to be taking that next step this year. I know he broke his leg. I know. He's taking that next step. He has been wreaking havoc. And we need that to happen in this year, especially as the competition, our schedule is higher. We need to have Hutchinson on the field. Smoking fools. Now, we're not going to see him on the field versus the Miami Dolphins here. But the game is on Saturday. It's at 1 p.m., all right? It's at Ford Field. Finally get a home game. We're going to be live for this bad boy. We're going to be live for the Lions and Miami Dolphins game, and we're going to talk about the good, bad, and the ugly. And I really, truly hope that we see the Lions physically dominate the Miami Dolphins, because that would bring credence to everything that we know about our football team, the physical team. And we're doing joint practices this week now, so we're going to be hearing a lot about practice this week. We may not see too much in the preseason game. The practice is just as important, and we're going to be talking about observations when practices begin. So give me your thoughts on this one. Can't wait to talk about Lions and Dolphins.